Good morning, Mike.
Mike.
Good morning, fellas. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's so funny. Every time he sounds the same. That you could lose 100 in a row, you'll still sound that way.
I don't know how you do it, man.
Mike, I got to start off the bat. This is just one of those interviews, man. It's hard to lose 10 in a row. You guys obviously are in a bad stretch, but after the Marlins series, when Davey made those comments, and obviously the media went crazy with it, when he made the comments about don't blaming the coaches, you got to look at the players. They got to play better. Did you agree with that when you heard that?
Yeah, here's my take on that. It's Dave Martinez is as player-friendly managers I've ever had. He and Dusty Baker to me run the clubhouse like no one else I've ever had in my career. So when you talk about one of the player managers in the league, Davey's one of them. This guy does 500, 600 interviews a year. He does 2 a day, pregame, postgame, every time. And, he's flawless, but he got caught in a frustrating, angry, we were 6 or 7, 8 in a row at that time. And got caught in a frustrated moment and kind of lashed out. And, I think it was out of frustration. Here's my take on that situation. There's onus on the players, there's onus on the coaches, there's onus on the manager, and there's a great onus on the general manager to do a better job. We all got to look in the mirror. Do you lose 10 games in a row? You said at the beginning, it's hard to lose 10 games in a row. I've never lost 10 games in a row. This is my 43rd year in professional baseball. I've never lost 10 in a row. It's tough. But when tough times come, when tough times come, you have to deal with it. And to me, Davey's the same manager in the clubhouse when there's no cameras on him and there's no media in the room. He's the same guy he was in the Marlins series as he was October 30th of 2019.
Right.
Same guy.
But after he said that, you didn't text him or call him and say, Dave, you shouldn't have said that.
Well, we talked about, I didn't call him or text him. I was, when I was in his office, and I was right there. We talked about it, and if he had to do it again, he would have done it. He would have got his point across, which was supporting the coaches in a smoother, better way, that it didn't ruffle the feathers of the fan base. And I think it was. I do think that it took a life of its own, more so with the fan base and in the media than it did in the clubhouse. I know that for a fact.
Right. So because the rumor was that there's some players that were unhappy with it and they were pissed off, but you're saying that wasn't the case.
I don't know. To me, it was. It's a. Yeah, you know me. It was. Anonymous source, or whatever,
right.
Anonymous rumor, whatever it was. But I don't see any unrest or unhappiness. I know Davey talked to all the players, after those comments were made. I think that's behind up here. Believe me, that's the least of our worries as far as this 10-game how we're playing streak is Davey's comments after that Marlins game.
Mike,
okay, all right.
Mike, I hear what you're saying, and I agree. I'm sure that it's true that Davey's the same guy he was in 2019 when you won a World Series. But when you go through this stretch, sometimes like great guys, great managers, great baseball guys, they still, sometimes you just, the fans want to scalp. I know you might not want to scalp. The fans want to scalp, right? Or they want something to change out of frustration.
Well, you guys had Davey out the door in 19 too. I mean, so your station, every other station wanted him fired. The coaches fired, the GM fired, the owners sell the team. Same. It's the same thing. It's built on frustration. I get it. Fans are fans. They root for their team. They want their team. They want to be proud of their team. They want to, they want the team to perform well. So, because it's their team. Believe me, we all feel that. But I'm looking at the big picture of an entirety of a season. And we're in June 17th or 18th, and we've got 3.5 months of baseball left. And 10 days ago we were 30 and 32, and our whole discussion and narrative was different.
Totally.
Yes.
And we're hopefully in 10 days from now, I'm back here on a Wednesday, and we're talking about wow, we really turned things around. So that's our thought, and that's my mindset. When I always think of it this way. My job as the leader of the organization is that when things are at their craziest and at their most stressful, I have to be at my calmest, and I have to be my best. When things are at its worst, I have to be at my best, and that's the message I told I gave to our coaching staff the other day. We just have to continue to do what we're doing and get these guys to perform to their capabilities, to their utmost capabilities. That's what coaching can do. And the difference between 2019 and now, the way Davey Martinez manages is you had a ready to win veteran team. It was the oldest team that ever won the World Series in 2019. In 2025, you have the youngest, one of the youngest teams in baseball with the average major league service time of less than 3 years. So, we're not only playing and performing, and they're not only coaching and managing at the big league level, but they're developing players at the big league level. And I think you could see some of the success stories that have taken place through the way we've developed. James Woods and Abrams and Cruz and Lyle and Gore and Parker, Henry, Ferrer, Lord. All these guys are learning at the big league level. These guys are all 17 guys are homegrown, drafted, developed by us, or acquired from the Soto trade, or another player that we drafted and developed, and so we're developing on the fly. These guys are learning their craft at the big league level, and I think you see some successes. And there's needs to focus. Our base running is still poor. Our infield defense has to improve. Now, I think House, joining the roster will improve our infield defense because he's a really good defensive third baseman. So I think that'll help. And these are things that we have to concentrate on. Not only to get out of this it's the hole that we're in this 10-game losing streak, but to moving forward, that this is how we have to win games. So that's what we're that's where we're at, and we're in a tough time right now. There's no question about it. But we've been in losing streaks before. We've been on winning streaks before. This year we've been on a couple of both, and this is the toughest time that we have. But tough times don't last. Tough people last. And what I said in 2019 still holds today. It's we lose as a team, we win as a team. We can bicker as a team between ourselves. It's like you can scream at my brother. I can scream at my brother, but nobody else from the outside can. And
I hear you.
We have to keep this thing together and keep ourselves. Moving forward, and we have to keep these young players with an optimistic and vivacious coming to the ballpark every day and winning games, because we got 3.5 months of this season left, and we played 16 straight games with 5 cities and three time zones with a monster road trip coming up. So. Stuff don't get easier from here, man. It gets harder.
So Mike,
we got to play better.
Mike, one thing that I pointed out the show was 3 other teams this year were really struggling, and they fired their managers. So Colorado fired Bud Black. Not that the new guy is going to do much. I mean, I don't think the new guy is going to come in and drastically change the success of that team. Pittsburgh did the same thing with Shelton. Baltimore did the same thing with Hyde. So you're saying that even though you've lost 10, Davey's still your guy. You can't make a change. It's not going to. It's worthless.
Here's what I'll say about that. Pittsburgh hasn't won a World Series since we are family. Colorado's never won a World Series, and Baltimore. Davey Johnson was the last guy who won a World Series with Baltimore. This guy is proven through trials and tribulations that he can handle a roster. He can handle a veteran laden team, and he's developing at the big league level. And
okay,
my track record is I have fired managers in mid-season. I've fired managers after season. I've fired coaches mid-season. I've fired coaches after the season. We're all being evaluated. We all got to look ourselves in the mirror. But and we are at a point right now where we're moving forward with our development of these young kids. I think Davey still has the pulse of the clubhouse. He's a great clubhouse presence, and he's a calming presence. And I think that once we get through this thing and win a couple of games, which we will, that we can right the ship and continue progressing towards winning a championship, whenever that is. And I think that's where my feelings are right now.
Okay.
Mike, what has ownership's reaction been to the 10-game losing streak? And are they exerting pressure on you to make changes to Davey's coaching staff? If not to Davey, then some of his underlings.
Their approach to the 10-game winning streak is they're very happy about it. They're extremely excited about it. No, we're all very frustrated with it. We're all concerned with it, and we have to play better. And we work as everything we do here is a team. I'm responsible for everything that goes on in baseball. So the good and the bad, and the 10-game losing streak. That's my team that I put out there, and it's I take responsibility for the successes and the failures of this franchise, and I think that's what leaders do, and I will continue to do that, and we'll continue to strive for to put the best product on the field that the DC people could be proud of.
Are you? You say the coaches and all can do this. They've done this. What about, do you have a veteran player in the clubhouse that can hold the players accountable? You don't have a Jason Worth type, a Ryan Zimmerman type. Do we have somebody like that?
We've got good veteran players. Nate Lowe is a good veteran player. This guy's won a World Series. He's won a Gold Glove and Silver Slugger. So he's a guy. And Josh Bell has been a guy, and Mackenzie Gore, although he's a young player, is kind of exuded himself, because of his extreme talent as a leader of that pitching staff. So yeah, we've got veteran guys there. They do their thing. They do their thing with the young players, and it's not like the mix we had in 19, where we had mostly veteran players sprinkled in a few rookies. We have a bunch of rookies sprinkled in a few veteran players, and it's a different dynamic and a different landscape in that clubhouse.
How much frustration is it that we're playing these teams that we really should be beating up on, or would it not even matter? Just losing sucks no matter who you lose to.
Losing sucks no matter who you lose to. I mean, does it make me feel better that we lost 3 in a row to the Mets or 3 in a row to the Marlins? No, it doesn't. It doesn't make me feel any better. I respect every team that comes into this ballpark. I respect them all. When we were riding high in that 8-year run, and we would come in and play a team that has a poor record that we should beat, as one philosopher says, that's why we play the games. And when a lot of times it's not who you play, it's when you play them. Miami got us when we weren't playing well and beat us pretty good, and Colorado beat us pretty good twice. And the only good thing about that is we got a game tonight. And that's the wonderful thing about baseball is there's always a game tomorrow, and where you get a chance to compete again and win a baseball game.
Are there other personnel moves, Mike, that you have up your sleeve that you can pull off to jumpstart something?
Well, I mean, other than guys getting healthy, let's not forget that that the bullpen is we have three relievers that we were heavily counting on, through to help us this season that haven't pitched for us much or at all this season in La Revolta and Mason Thompson, and couple that with the two signings of Sims and Lopez that didn't work out. That we took a chance on both those guys, didn't work out. That's on me. And so we're thrusting young guys into roles that are new for them. And I think you see some of these guys emerging as guys for us. The way Lord has pitched and Cole Henry and Rutledge has had streaks of being good, and Briggsy and Ferrer. These are all our guys. These are all homegrown players that we've developed into competent, hopefully successful, hopefully really good major league players as they continue to develop. But they're new to this. They're new to this occupation. They're minor league starters through their whole career, and we've kind of thrust them into the bullpen role in spring training, but they're getting the taste of it, and we're gonna compete two more times with the Rockies at home, and then we're going on a monster road trip, and these young kids are going to be thrown in the deep end of the pool: Dodger Stadium, Padres, and Anaheim. So.
Joined by Mike Rizzo, President and GM of the Washington Nationals. He's brought to you by Main Street Bank. Mike, to the fans, it's not just a 10-game losing streak. Some of them are frustrated that it's a 4.5-year rebuild that's taking longer than expected. How do you feel, though? How do you make those fans feel better going forward with the product that's on the field?
Well, I think that when you look at it, we had 8 years of great success, 12 to 19, 4 division titles and the World Championship in that mix, and then we had to rebuild. The rebuild, in my mind, didn't start till we traded Juan Soto in July of 2022. I guess in 2021, Max and Trey were traded, so that was the kickstart of it. But I think we're into this thing 3.5 years. The rebuild, before when I took over in 2009 to winning the division title in 2012, took three plus years. This one's going to take a little bit longer. But all these rebuilds aren't linear, and landscapes change, injuries happen, player performance it doesn't develop as on schedule as you would like. But I think when you see the 4 or 5 young position players that we have, and the 2 or 3 young starting pitchers we have, and the 3 or 4 bullpen guys that we have, they're all young, controllable players that are going to develop with us and learn with us and learn how to win. And when we get to the time where we're ready to win, hopefully we'll invest in the roster and make some moves to put us over the top.
Mike, I know one of the guys that you're very high on because you gave him an 8-year deal is Keibert Ruiz, and I didn't realize this because I don't pay attention to the metrics, but these guys that do are saying that his blocking and his framing are one of the worst in baseball as a catcher. I know that offensively he's been struggling over the last month and a half or so, but because he's dropped in the lineup too. But defensively, do you think he is where he should be, or does he need to improve that as well?
Oh, he needs to get back to where he was. He was. I think that early on in his career, he was a better catcher, thrower, and blocker. I think that it's a beat down position that really takes its toll on you physically, and I think that it's something that affects him. I think more so than like Wilson Ramos when we had him, because he was such a big horse. I think what we have to figure out with him is he always has one good half. And he hasn't put together 2 good halves yet, and we're hoping that he being the second half guy that offensively that he is, hopefully he takes a step forward offensively. But Henry Blanco works with him on a daily basis he and the rest of the catching corps to with framing drills and blocking drills and that type of thing. And it's just something that you have to keep pounding into them, the importance of it. And you couple that with also a big portion of his responsibility is game calling. That's putting the right fingers down and that type of thing. So
right, Mike. Last question. I always want to get sort of the updates on where Cavalli and Cruz are in their comeback from injury.
Well, Cavalli's pitching every 5 days, so every 6 days in the minor leagues. So he's pitching well. We're trying to get him some stamina and to get him stretched out to the point where he's at the point where he can go 5-6 strong innings at the big league level. And Cruz is rehabbing. He's going on this long road trip with us. So I think that tells me he's getting a little bit closer. But those obliques and the sides and lower back stuff is tricky. So it took Chaparro two and a half months to recover from his oblique out of spring training. So we're going to take it. We're going to do the right thing by Cruzy and take our time with him. But we desperately need to get him back. He's a hell of a player for us, and has been at the time he was hurt was really starting to come on offensively and of course defensively and base running. He's terrific all the time. So we could use his influx of skill set into the lineup.
Mike, thanks as always for the time. We appreciate it. Let's get win number 31 today. Let's get off the schneid. We'll talk to you again next week. Okay.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
Mike Rizzo, president and GM of the Washington Nationals. He's brought to you by Main Street Bank. Cheer local, bank local. Put their team in your office. Visit mstreetbank.com for more information.